Well, Dirty Dan's up and away. He's out and moving around. So's all the other animals. They seem to like it now that this snow's gone. Welcome, friends. Welcome to the foothills of the Smoky. Another chapter of As the Ridge Turns here in East Tennessee. Now, it's went from 0, and we've got a lot of rain, and the snow's gone the first day that rain come in here good. And it got up to 65 degrees. That felt like summer compared to what it was a week before. But the animals was moving around real good. I've seen a few that I hadn't seen, and old Dirty Dan's up. That's good news. And down here at the pond, it's looking good. They still love it really good. So, let's just see what stepped in front of the cameras this week. I'm glad to see old Dirty Dan's up. So, relax, throw your feet up, and let's get started. Well, out on the ridge, the animals seem to love it more with that snow gone. They able to find more to eat on. They seem to be more happy. And these dogs, they really gang up in little groups and run around. I guess for protection from these coyotes and everything. And they move around all the time. If we're on the ridge top before the snow melted, here's what it looked like. Not much moving around. But just as soon as that snow's gone, the little squirrels is really happy. They love it. The old turkey, it didn't matter. They's out in the snow too. This is nothing but hens here. They run around in their little group. But here's a sound on this camera. You can hear them clucking and scratching. You hear them scratching? They do this all day long. And something went through the snow there. It's old pictures of just before the snow melted. And there is a rare. Glad to see it. There's old Dirty Dan out moving around. That was a surprise to me. But he's out. He's awoke. The turkey, on a rainy morning, they always working this ridge. And there's a skunk during the day. That looks like Wishbone. And there's old Dirty Dan going up the path. Looks like daylight or right at dark. And there's a skunk during the day too, running up the trail. They're running everywhere. And here at the log, before the snow melted, little birds is trying to find something. And there's old Ricky. The little birds working this snow as it's melting. And a little Carolina wren too. And there's the skunks during the day coming through there. Old Ricky has to say hi. He's happy the snow's gone. He can go back to digging. He has a good time now. He can get down in them leaves. That snow hinders him. The little birds up the rock, they still working this place too. All sorts of little birds. It's so peaceful up here. The skunks, they're out during the day. Normally don't see 'em till nighttime, but they're out prowling during the day, ain't they? It's at the peak of their mating season, and they don't want to miss it. There's old Wishbone coming in. There's old Stripe. A lot of them out during the day. There's Wishbone again. It's rare you see that many during the day, but here's the star. He has awoke. I don't know if the skunks and everything's brought him, but it's about time for him. It's this time of year. He's been asleep for 3 months. He's up, and I'd say he's hungry. But he's thinking, what in the world is going on here since I've took a nap? Somebody's all moved in here. But he don't care. He's out just seeing what's been going on. And I know by instinct he knows where to go get him something to eat. He heads up the ridge, digging up on roots and tree bark. He knows what to do. But he don't stay out too long. Still kind of cool for him, so he's going to turn back in. But he's got Groundhog Day to do. Back at the pond, this is what it looked like before it melted. Squirrel fooling around in front of the camera. And it got up to 60, 65 degrees a day or two later. The little birds is having a bath down there, having a good time. And the turkey, they're always running around here. Always. Come night, here's a little bachelor group of bucks moving through down off the ridge. Rare glimpse to catch 'em like this, but I catch 'em in a camera here and there. Lined up. He's probably more than this, just run out of time on the camera. But here's the old coyote. He's out looking for something to eat too. And these little animals have to be watchful of him. Old Charlie. But he ain't alone. And these coons, they surely watching him. I think this is old Rocky too, the one that lost his tail. He lost his tail, but it don't seem to bother him. I've seen a lot of coons with no tails on them. And there's a bunch of coons on this ridge too. Now in the snow, there's old Tiger, newcomer coming in here, moving around one night after the snow. And there's old Wishbone. Something's exciting him. But they move on. And there's a possum. Can't tell if that's Willie or not on a wet night. And there's old Yaller moving around one night after the snows melt. I know they're happy with that snow gone. There's another possum. Can't tell you what that one is. Now here is the original Snowball skunk. He was born here 2 years ago. And he's come home, or she has. Now here's the business end of a skunk. Looks like Stripe. Not sure. But I'm sure now. He turned around. The camera must have startled him or something. There's a little screech owl. I guess he's glad the snow's gone too. But here at the log before the snow melted, they still moved around. As soon as that rain moved in, the snow was gone. They start their regular tour of business. And there's a pair of possums, They like it too. They don't like that snow. Too cold on them. And the skunks, I don't think it matters to them. It's that time of year for them, and they're not going to miss it. Coming and going. Now there's Snowball. You see how he got the name Snowball, don't you? Think it's a spotted skunk. There's old Rocky too, with no tail. But he's watchful awful lot. I'd say so when you lost your tail. I hear the coon. These skunks try to hold their own against these coons. And they coming out from under the rocks too. There's old Rocky too again. And the skunks, before the snow melted, they had a good time. This one acts like he's trying to defend something off, probably a coon. And there looks like old Willie on a wet night. Didn't see old Sidewinder though. I worry about these animals, but that's just nature. There's old Chubby. I know, that's Chubby right there. He's moving around, but no Sidewinder moving. And there the skunks come in. There's Snowball. That is almost white skunk. Beautiful skunk. See how it got its name Snowball? That's the original Snowball. Beautiful skunk. Now, I don't know if it's a male or female. But they're using this rock too. They come home to find them a mate. And there's all kinds of little mating pairs here using this rock. 2 or 3 different pairs. And hoping we catch some good pictures of some pretty little young. They're so cute when they're hatched out and are born. Now here is a strange sound of 2 fighting. But it's over with. I don't know what happened. One startled the other. That was the sound they make. Out on the ridge, the old coon's moving across. Probably heading towards the pond. Down at the pond, before the snow melted, the deer, it didn't matter to them. They seemed to like the snow of all the animals. And there's a coon on the night of the snow. And there's a skunk down here at the pond. The coons don't like that, I'd say. But they got business. If it stayed warm like this a few more nights, the frogs would be chirping. But it turned cold again. During daylight, there's a skunk out moving around at dawn. The deer herd's moving around up the ridge too. They're on the move. And they just browse these woods all day long in this ridge. You're liable to see them anywhere. But it's time for the little squirrels. I know they had a hard time in this snow. It's cold on them, and they can't find nothing hardly, but they try. And they're comical too. They usually just bounce between trees. I know it's cold on them little squirrels. But that snow melting, it gets real foggy here. Cameron's kind of damp anyway. But they manage to feed. They love it when the snow's gone. It's back to foraging in the leaves. They'll find a nut somewhere. They're always looking out. The hawks is hungry too. But they have a good time. Nature on the ridge. Well, that's just what stepped in front of the cameras this week. Tune in next week for another chapter of As the Ridge Turns. So God bless, take care, and I'll see you next time.